Hey guys, William here at Restored Strength, and today I want to talk about 4 hip mobility drills that I like to use to really open up those tight hips you might be struggling with. The first mobility drill we'll be doing is a rocking motion, and with the rocking motion, what that's going to help us do is it's going to help us with getting the feet into dorsiflex position, meaning our toes are up. So from that position there, our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are a little bit outside of shoulder width, and from here, we're going to have our head up, tongue to the roof of the mouth, sniff the air. As you sit back, exhale, then bring yourself forward. Just giving you a different view as to how the rocking would look. So from here, the toes are up, hands are again underneath the shoulders, knees are a little bit outside of the hips. From here, rocking back as far as you can, then coming forward. From there, I would go ahead and repeat those steps 3 times over, maybe about 20 rocks, and then going on to the next mobility drill. So the next stretch that we're gonna go into is the half kneeling position. So with the half kneeling position, and I like to go about hip width, maybe a little bit wider, but from here we're gonna go ahead and imagine as if we had a large belt buckle at our waist, and we're gonna be pulling that belt buckle up to our chin. That way we get the pelvis in that neutral position. From here, we're just going to gradually we're going to lean forward, taking a big breath in, exhaling as you're leaning forward, then bringing yourself back. The common mistake that most people make when they're doing the half kneeling stretch is that they want to be aggressive with it, where they're bringing the knee forward, they're losing their position, and they're just defeating the purpose of the stretch. So again, just being very gradual with your motions here. So pulling that pelvis into that neutral position and then leaning in just slightly forward until you start getting a pull through the hip flexor, then bringing yourself back to that start position. With those, I would recommend going anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths on each side. So the next mobility drill we're going to get into is the side bent reverse. So from the beginning standpoint, I'm going to show a regression of what that would look like. So from here, we're going to have one leg out, make sure that it's straight. We're going to have our other one bent close to us, outward. That outward motion is called external rotation. So from here, with that knee that's externally rotated, we're going to sit back on our butt, roll. As we're rolling, we're going to be pivoting that foot upward, then dropping that knee downward. From here, we have this knee and this hip into internal rotation. So from here, we're going to sit back on our butt, externally rotate that hip, and get in that start position again. So with that foot, it can pivot, it can be that pivoting point, or you can adjust the foot position as need be. So what you can do then, once that becomes less challenging for you and those hips start opening up, what you can do next is go into the side bent sit reverse. So to begin with that motion, what you're going to have is one hip's going to be externally rotated, the other one's going to be internally rotating. So that straight leg no longer straight, it's bent towards us. Same motion, same concept. Take your time being mindful of this movement. So from here, as you're rolling onto the butt, rotating, shifting those hips up. From there, just dropping the hip down. So again, from this position, externally rotating the hip, internally rotating the other. Repeating the motion, being slow and mindful of your movement here. So from there, what I usually recommend going into is anywhere from 5 to 10 rolls on each hip. So the last stretch we're going to go over is the frog stretch. So with the frog stretch, what we're going to begin with is having our knees spread out just as wide as mine are. And from here, having our hands underneath our shoulders. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a big breath in. And then as we come back, we're going to exhale. Coming in forward. Getting deeper each time. So from here, guys, one thing you want to be really mindful of is not excessively forcing yourself in that bottom position. So if you're getting down in that bottom position, you start making some faces or you start holding in your breath, initially you're just going to be counterintuitive as to what the stretch is doing for you. So instead, just be mindful of our movement where we're just going to meet ourselves where we're at. So from here, if you're only able to get into a bottom position of 1 to 2 inches, that's okay. Again, it's making sure that you're doing this properly and doing it safe. So from here, just gradually pushing yourself down slowly back, then bringing yourself forward. So just giving you a view from the side. So as you can tell, my feet are externally rotated again as well. Feet are facing flat. From here, big breath in. And what I usually recommend for this is about 20 breaths and repeating this motion 3 times through. Each time you finish one set of the 20 breaths, next time you get set up for your next frog stretch, what I want you to do instead is get the knees a little bit wider each time. That way, again, you can start gradually making progress on opening up those hips. But again, just being mindful of not forcing yourself into that stretch. All right, guys, so again, thank you for watching, and hopefully some of these mobility drills I showed you today can help you open up some of those tight hips you might be having.